when the chips are down and you're forced into a situation and being able to contribute, that's the part that gets more exciting to me.
What made you stick around for 12 years in the current company?
Everybody does AI today, right? Like everybody is dabbling with AI and that's becoming the next hot shot.
So it should be not wrong to call English is a new programming language these days. What advice would you give to aspiring tech leaders looking to make an impact in their organization?
Nobody's going to stay in the same organization forever. Everybody has that 3 to 5 year cycle where they don't keep switching opportunities out.
If you could have dinner with any tech icon, who would it be?
Wow, controversial, but Elon, I would say. I used to sing, I used to karaoke before, but not.
Would you like to sing something? Hi all, welcome to RPA Feeds podcast. Today I have very exciting and a special guest with me, Srini Raghavan. I can say that he has a lot to contribute and we might expect a lot of value out of this podcast. So stay tuned. Srini has overall 20 plus of years of experience and he is currently Senior Director of Software Engineering at GSK. Srini, welcome to this podcast. Excited to have you.
Thank you, Deep. Nice to be here as well. Just a bit of introduction. Been in the software industry for over 20 years now. Right now, managing a team of exciting engineers doing at the core software engineering and automation in general. So nice to be here, Deep. Looking forward to your questions.
Awesome. So Srini, would you like to share your journey to the audience?
Sure, yeah. It's been exciting overall, I would say. It did start as a general software engineer, like how we see a traditional career progress happen today. So my journey has been pretty traditional, I would say. Being out there, learning from the experts, proving yourself, and then being open to picking up different opportunities and different projects along the way, being challenging as well as being challenged, I would say. Sometimes you get put into a project where you have like absolutely no idea. Sometimes you're replacing somebody because there's nobody else to pick it up. Those kinds of phases are always there. Those are the biggest opportunities for me to say, it's things when the chips are down and you're forced into a situation and being able to contribute. That's the part that gets more exciting to me. And problem solving always excites me. So when you're put into things that are, completely out of your league, you got to learn from scratch. At the same time, get up and very little time to contribute. Those are the times that you get challenged. And that's the time that you really show your resilience, I would say. I've had multiple such opportunities along the way. But yeah, I mean, it's been very exciting 20 years, I should say.
Superb. That was quite a brief of your journey. So in your career, you have played multiple roles and worked on multiple technologies. We have seen 2 decades of software engineering. So it's a lot, right? So we'll touch base on those things as well. Moving on to the next question. What are some of the key milestones in your career that have shaped your approach to leadership and innovation?
Got it. I would say leadership and innovation really focuses on understanding the job end to end, I would say. Because in order to be able to influence people who contribute and make a difference to the team, you need to know how they work and what really involves being successful at what they do. So I'm talking about people who are, junior engineers, mid-level engineers, senior engineers, lead engineers. I mean, they all have unique roles to play. And you should have been in that journey to really understand what works for them and what cannot. The way you explain a situation to a junior engineer is completely different to what you would explain to a staff engineer or a team lead, right? So it's important as a technology leader to be able to understand end to end what works and what doesn't work for a team, right? And your approach should be flexible enough to change between different people in the team, right? So understanding of the team is very important. The second thing is you have to be really clear on what you need from them. You would get put into situations as you lead up, and it doesn't have to be at a senior level, but as you lead teams, as you lead people, you will be put into situations where you are unclear as what the demands are. I'm not talking about requirements. Requirements are always unclear. I'm just talking about what the vision is. So as a company, as a team, there's always some vision for your team. And that clarity you need to have so that you can guide your teams properly. When you don't have that clarity, you should seek that clarity constantly. When you're unclear, the team is unclear, and that will reflect in the work and the innovation that your team does. Third thing is being courageous, I would say. There'll always be ideas out there that are very, very different from what you would work towards completion. When you have such ideas, you should be open to experimenting those ideas, but at the same time, not derail the progress of your team itself. Carve out times for experimentation. So yeah, basically knowing a team end to end, being clear on your vision, on what to innovate, what to experiment, at the same time what to deliver, which is exactly very, very, very important for the organization itself. The third thing is being courageous, and fourth thing is okay to experiment. I think those are some of the factors that I always look for when I'm like posed into a situation where I have to lead a team towards a delivery or whatnot.
Superb. Thanks, Srini. That would be helpful. With that, like I know that along with software engineering, you have an experience into automation, leading the teams in and delivery also in intelligent automation, right? With your experience into digital transformation, what emerging technologies do you believe are most crucial for businesses to adopt today?
Everybody does AI today, right? Like everybody is dabbling with AI, and that's becoming the next hot shot, I would say, at this point. You would be missing on it if you haven't started anything in the whole AI, Gen AI space. What it has done to us, especially Gen AI, is really simplified access to AI. That's how I see it. Like I come from a software engineering background. I'm not a machine learning expert. I'm not somebody who has trained models or anything like that. I just read about them. That's it. But I know how to use APIs. I know what they bring to the table and stuff like that. And it's really helpful if you go ask a software engineer, I'm going to give you an API that gets them extremely excited because they know they can progress. Right? I think that's what Gen AI did. So the next leg up for anything right now is about using AI in the right ways possible, being responsible about the usage, and also tap into the value what it can bring. Second thing I would say is general DevOps and dev security ops on it. Like they call it DevSecOps. Right? Not enough is being said about it because people think it's just part and parcel of rolling out code. It's just not that. Right? Being able to do secure software engineering is very important. At the same time, being able to do continuous delivery is very important as well. The third thing, which has gone into maturity right now in a lot of big organizations, is the whole API based development or microservice based architecture, modular development. All these things are just like synonymous with each other at this point. So to me, the three big things at the moment, I would say, is AI, DevSecOps, and the whole API landscape. So everything that we do in software engineering is automation. So I don't see them any differently. So they're just like simplifying things that you do every day. It's only going to get advanced from there. And throw in NLP on top of it. Now you can say it out on what you want to do and write the whole thing out for you. But yeah, I mean, how you put these together, how you make them secure, how you make them resilient is where traditional software engineers come in and make those tool chains better for the future. Yeah, I mean that's probably what I would say as next big things.
Yeah. That's what I also keep on calling to the engineers or automation developers. They say basically anybody can develop code on low code tools also. What's the importance of our job or our background of software engineering? I keep on saying that to scale solution, we still need that mindset or at that
Absolutely.
background. I mean, anybody can build it as a citizen developer, but you cannot keep all the aspect into consideration like security, scaling of your solution, optimizing or your solution. So that's the thing.
Absolutely. There is start. All these tools are giving you that start. Finishing the product, scaling the product, optimizing the product, like you called out, great call out there, is where we come in. And that's the importance of the experience you bring into the table. The security aspects, there's a lot more to it. We know what happened with the whole CrowdStrike scenario and stuff like that. Any simple change can break the whole cloud environment for us. Like we've learned, it's great learning for everybody out there. So yeah, I mean, good call outs. I'm with you on that one.
And as you said, like these days, like you just have to say and everything is getting built and you have to just take a look, review it and make some additions or modification. So it should be not wrong to call English is a new programming language these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Moving on to the next question. Based on your extensive leadership experience, what advice would you give to aspiring tech leaders looking to make an impact in their organization?
Loaded question, a lot to talk about it. Knowing your team is important. We spoke about that briefly earlier. Not everybody is built the same, and everybody has a skill to bring to the table. Respect for individuals, I would say you can't talk enough about. Everybody has a skill set. Everybody has talents that they bring to the team, but everybody needs to be dealt differently in terms of how you approach them, how you talk to them, what you explain, and what you don't explain. So knowing your team is very very important as a leader. Second thing is the whole culture of it. I'm a firm believer in keeping things easy with the team and keeping things fun with the team. By that, I don't mean that you're spending too many times not talking about work. I talk a lot about work, and you know that, right? So it's not that. It's just keeping a safe environment for the team to be able to express their views, be able to share their knowledge, being able to share their ideas, and at the same time, you being clear enough with the team on why you are pushing a certain idea towards them, and why is a certain vision being pushed down by the organization. And the third thing necessary as a technology leader is to always look ahead. Don't get stuck in where you are today. That doesn't have to be 10, 15 year vision. I always don't look more than 3 to 5 years ahead, because you know what happens in a matter of time these days, right? So 3 to 5 years, I think it's optimal, where you want to take it. And that can always be optimized and changed along the way. And bring your team along the way as well. So succession planning, I would say, is super important as a technology leader. You're not always going to be there. Your team leads are not always going to be there. So always identify that next leg down. So who is that next level down? Who is that you're going to mentor along and take that position along the way? Fourth thing is, don't look at employees as working just for your current organization. You have to build them up for not only this company, but where they're going in future. Nobody is going to stay in the same organization forever. Everybody has that 3 to 5 year cycle where they don't keep switching opportunities out. If you're having an employee who is staying long term, that's fantastic. But at the same time, gives you the risk that they're always going to leave. They're always going to look for something else, right? You think about it from the employee mindset and not from your mindset on if somebody is reaching 3 to 5 years, it's okay. You should have a succession lined up. So be open for them to just develop them towards a career in an organization and a career in a technology that they could use those technologies anywhere else. So don't consider them like, hey, if I try to teach them something, they're going to quit this job and move somewhere else. Great, that's fine. You're just honing in on individuals. So think of them as preparing them for the industry and not for your own company. So that's how I see it. So these are like really small things, but then you turn into a leader that people love.
Superb. That's a really great piece of advice, especially the last one. Prepare your teammate for the industry. I have one more question, a follow-up question. So,
Yeah.
based on the in this era where people keep on switching their jobs, like 2 years, 3 years, spending that much time in a company and then switching, what made you stick around for 12 years in the current company?
There are a lot of people out there in the industry who stick on to the same company, right? The fact is that there's a lot of things to gain if you stick around the same company towards building and shaping your career. The only reason people stick to companies is when they know they are being challenged, they're giving exciting work to do, they're always looking at the next leg up in the technology landscape. I'm not talking about career. I mean, you can be a senior software engineer for the rest of your life. Doesn't matter. If you're getting paid well, at the same time, you are being challenged with good work to do. And at the same time, you're given space to learn the next thing in the technology area, right? All this has happened to me, so I'm a happy employee, right? A lot of times what people look at is like, hey, I'm stagnant in my job. I'm not getting promoted. There is no career path for me in an organization. I know that for sure. And I don't think the things that excite me are part of this organization. If any of these are true, it's okay to leave. That's fine. You always look for exciting opportunities. If it's not in the current company, and after you have spoken to your managers, you're sure that it's not in the current company, you're good. Move. No problem. But any of these are out there, and the industry that you're working on is still exciting to you, stay around. Stay around when you have a really good culture in the organization. You're working with great talent, the talent that keeps pushing you up. If your managers are not listening to you, you keep trying. And if you're still not listening to you, you move. Enough said about managers who don't listen or understand the situation of an employee. It's okay to quit and move on. It's important that you're working for someone that you trust. It's okay to work for someone that is transparent with you. And you have to always be there to mentor your team along. Like if you're not able to do that, then you're not in the right spot. So that's how I see it. So as you move up, you should prepare yourself from a mindset perspective for the next level up, because the challenges are very, very different. As a coder, you think about how can I write better code. As a lead, you think about how I manage my team well. My next level is how do I get to a lead team level objectives and I can work towards delivery. But then when you get to like a director level, the challenges are very, very different. You think about the organization, you think about the finances, you think about how to make things efficient in not just your team, but across teams. So all these are like very, very different as you scale up. So you should be prepared for that next level up. So constantly work on that. So what does next level need? And can I work towards that? What am I lacking? So those are the kinds of challenges that you constantly work on. I'm saying, preparing yourself up.
It's like running your company. Like, at that level, like you're running your own company with that particular division.
Exactly. That's a nice way to put it out there.
And there is a saying also, people quit their managers, not the company. So
Oh yes.
we
Oh
keep
yeah.
on hearing that
Very very
the,
true. Very true.
in the
Very
form
true.
of memes or something. But yeah, somewhere down it's true, right?
Yeah, man. It all comes down to whether it is exciting to the job that you do. You come in every day that the day excites you. If the day is not exciting, are you able to work with people that excite you? At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Time to move on to rapid fire, and I want you to answer each questions within 10 seconds. So let's start with the first question. Can you describe your job in 3 words?
Experiment, innovate, deliver.
Okay. What's one thing that you cannot work without?
Good people, and off late my Apple Watch. I can't say enough about it. It watches your health as you go. You know, like a busy day, this always tells me like you have this many steps to take, this much water to drink. That helps. Now off late, that's what it's been.
Awesome. If you could have dinner with any tech icon, who would it be?
Wow, controversial, but Elon, I would say. I, just to have a conversation on how his mind works. And I watch all his interviews out there just to see how his mind works. Not on board with everything that he does, but at the same time, I'm really, really excited about how he thinks at future. So Elon
Yeah,
right now.
cool. What's your go-to productivity hack?
Activity hack. A commitment. One thing I constantly do is I want to finish the emails every day. Not enough is said about it because you don't want to keep people waiting. Okay.
Yeah.
And our mailboxes are a mess, right? So my productivity hack is to make sure my mailboxes are organized in a way that I get back to people in 24 hours.
Superb.
So even if it's an acknowledgement to say, I will set up a meeting for next week to talk about it, I still acknowledge within the 24-hour period. So you have to get to a way where your mailboxes are organized such that you can do this in 24-hour timeline.
You don't have a bot built for that.
And not yet. Copilot did that. So that's pretty good.
Okay, cool. What's the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Say no. Say no when you're not confident or ask for time. Right? Um, I could probably share a story around this, I would say, without touching on too much detail.
Mhm.
I said yes when I should have said no to certain projects. I was pretty confident that was not going to happen. Probably impatient, I would say, as I was growing in my career. Took up things that I shouldn't have taken up, and I figured it out probably when it was not too late. I would say that I should have said no to it. And so constantly listen to yourself. So that's one of the things I should sneak in somewhere. Like sometimes things would not go as you planned. Highlight those issues faster. When you know for sure this is not going to work, be okay to say no, but give ideas on how to turn that no into a yes. A lot of people will say like, yeah, hey, say no, and being able to say no is a talent and all that. That's okay. But then how do you turn that no into an yes? Make it part of that conversation. You could turn a conversation around by saying, this is not possible today. I don't think I can do this. However, if I am given these things, or if I'm given these talent, or if we do these things, we can do this. People want to look for solutions and not problems. So
Mm.
always be that someone to bring solutions along, even though there are only problems out there.
Yeah.
So that's a special talent. And I had someone say that to me and say like, I don't want to listen to problems, I want to listen to solutions. People say that straight on your face. But then how do you like turn that around into a habit is where your, mindset lies, where your attitude lies.
There is a book called Art of Saying No. So many people refer that as well.
Yeah, deviating from your rapid fire thing for a moment actually helped a lot of people who were struggling with that. Instead of saying no, people started saying, I'm going to do a spike, right? I'm going to do a spike. I'll come back to you with data. Great thing. Yeah, so I think probably that's the best thing that would have happened to our industry, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it went.
Cool. That was the last question. So you had the liberty to elaborate. That's cool. And something around your personal life. For example, when Srini is not working, like what people can find you doing over the weekend. Any hobbies you want to share?
Yeah, my hobbies constantly change, man. That I should say. See, I've got two little kids, so if I'm not working, I'm running around with them, playing with them, shopping for them. Not enough is said about working with your kids. You have to find time no matter what. My kids are 12 and 7 now, so that's an age where they always need you. So you have to be there for them and do things for them. But other than that, I'm starting to work on my yard and stuff like that. So trying to keep my sanity around with the things that you have to do for your house and all that stuff. Trying to learn more about gardening and things like that. So not something I've never been looking at anything of that at all. So now starting to look at that more. I'm also learning more and more about finance and the industries out there. That excites me as well. So it's just the whole financial industry, how it works, how it runs, and I used to sing, I used to karaoke before, but not anymore. Not finding enough time. And, yeah, I mean just being around your family and finding time for your relatives, meeting friends, those kinds of things are always there. My weekends are like packed in those kinds of different activities. Learning to cook as well, so that sneak that in along the way. So just basic family things, but that's it. Like
That's cool. That's cool.
nothing extensive, I would say.
Okay. Would you like to sing something?
No, no, not. Leave me alone.
That will
Out
be
of it.
fun. What do you used
Throat
to
is not.
sing? What do you used to sing? Like Bollywood or anything in?
Yeah, film songs basically. I don't know music like professional or anything. I mean, everybody sings. Everybody's a bathroom singer, right? So, found these apps recently that took off 5-10 years ago on that you can karaoke on your own and stuff like that. So I got into
Yeah.
it for a little bit, did that for 2-3 years, and then got bored of it. Moved on to the next one.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Moving on to the next question. How you look at the term hyperautomation? So there is
Mhm.
a lot of talk around automation, then intelligent automation, and then now
Yep.
hyperautomation.
Yep.
So would you like to throw some light based on your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so from a definition perspective, people look at hyperautomation as going end to end in a process, like having discipline and going end to end in a process. The simplest terms, that's what it is, right? The way I look at it is more about discipline as a start. Like a basic start is to have discipline around automation and being able to really validate and quantify a business value for an automation. The industry is struggling with value stream because costs are going up constantly and they are only going to go up. Are you going to get the same value out of it? What is the positive ROI? Is there a positive ROI for an automation? And what are the mechanisms that you can do in this automation process that turns an ROI positive? If it is a positive ROI and you're going to expand the scope of the automation in order to achieve a positive ROI, to me, that's what is hyper automation at the moment. Gone are the days where we said, hey, this part of the process, we can't automate that because there's no technology out there. Now there is technology for everything in that process going into it. It's about how to bring discipline into the process so that the technology can go end to end. So that's how I see the whole hyper automation thing. A lot of us, a lot of companies, just a lot of automation teams have just recoined themselves from automation to a hyper automation to intelligent automation to hyper automation, just because the trend is that way. You know what? It's okay to do that because now we are shooting for the next level of your vision, which is going end to end and using the technologies out there to achieve it. But at the same time, it's just not about using the right exciting technologies, but it's about positive ROI at the end of the day. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what governs the company. I think we are all part of certain industries that bring value to the people, right? So if that value is going up and you're able to use the technologies towards bringing that value, to me, that's high growth.
Awesome. On point.
Thank you.
And with that, like now there is a change in the trends. Like every other automation company have started to onboard AI, integrate AI concepts into their frameworks and platforms. And majorly, they have coined a term called agentic process automation. If you might be aware.
Yep.
So how do you see this, like multi-agent or AI agent kind of a framework for doing the job?
I'm super excited about it. So the whole AI and agents framework around Gen AI has really started rubbing the right way in other automation industries as well. We have always worked on agent frameworks, I would say, within automation, right? So if there's a part out there, it's an unintended part, to me, that's an agent. But where we are now getting ourselves into is more of a powerful orchestrator type of scenario. There's a really powerful orchestrator out there that can run multiple parts or multiple agents out there towards achieving a common goal. You know that's out there for the future, and that is all possible now, and that is the future to me. You know, when we spoke about hyper automation going end to end, that's what I was talking about. Like you have modular pieces of automation agents, for lack of a better word, modular agents that can do a specific task towards achieving an end to end process automation. That's how I see it. That's how I see the agentic framework that you've been touching on. And there is now technology to do that. It all ties down to the whole software engineering model we spoke about as well. Being able to write modular, reusable code to be able to achieve a certain task or a certain process. That is the future, and that's how I see it as well. Every automation developer out there who's listening to it or dabbling in the industry around it always think modular. Always think, break up your process into multiple tasks and achieve each task towards achieving the process. Generally, how things are looking at the moment, and that's how we should look at it as well. Architects, designers, that's how they think. And being able to design an automation and architect an automation is very, very important before you try and do the automation, even if it's a low code. There should be an architecture diagram out there before you start doing anything. And it's an exciting time to be in the industry right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's true. And with a lot of applications being integrated with Gen AI, but AI has a tendency to hallucinate. Like, what are your views on that? Like, how we can improve, or how people should think of improving their solution? Less hallucinate and give more accurate or more precise results.
Yeah. So the whole Gen AI is built on like what's your next text that you can generate, right? So if that is how the core basic fundamentals are, it is going to hallucinate, right? But how do you can't prevent hallucination? I'm sure everybody knows that. Like, you cannot say my solution is not going to hallucinate. It will to a certain extent. What is that extent is where it matters. If we find a solution for this, it will be baked into the models themselves in future. So watch out for that. I'm sure people are looking at fine-tuned models just for, say, a RAG architecture, right? So you would find models already out there for just fine-tuned for RAG, right? And people are building models to make sure that happens. But what you can do is to get to a level where there is a level of certainty that you can get from your Gen AI models. 90%, 85%. It differs based on how you architect them and what you use them for. But get to a point where what is the acceptable level of accuracy or errors that you're okay with for a particular process. If you're looking at a highly regulated industry where certainty matters to you, Gen AI is not out there yet, up there for you to use. I would say use it in places where you can draft them out. You can get to a level before the human in the loop comes into play, then validate it with a human, validate it with an expert before you then use the insights towards achieving a certain thing, right? But as we start to use it, you would see that error rate is not that high. You are probably looking at somewhere in the 2 to 3% range. 98% accuracy have been achieved in a lot of cases. Even I have worked on certain cases where we've gotten 99% of accuracy. You run 100 test cases, you will probably see like a 0.1% failure in certain cases, right? But it is out there. So it's important to write out a process or an architecture where machine gives you 98%, but then for the 2%, you still bring in the human in the loop before you sign off a particular decision. That needs to be process of the automation. Going 100%, not yet there. I think we are all working, the industry itself is working towards that, but we are not there yet. So accept your hallucination, accept your risks, and wherever the risks cannot be accepted, don't use it just yet. Make sure there's a proper human in the loop involved in the process so that 98% turns into 100%.
Super. Yeah. Thanks, Srini, for sharing your insights on that. What advice would you like to give to professionals into this field, maybe just starting out and also at some mid-level kind of experience? Any advice from your journey or from experience?
Sure. I think for someone starting out, every time someone starts out, like different times, like I started in 2004, with 2010, 2015, 2020, there's something out there that will turn the corner for a certain problem, right? So always watch out for what that is. And even if you're not working on that particular area, still learn about that. You never know what excites you. So constantly read, constantly look at how the industry is going. Always look at the macro picture. As somebody starting out from a college, understanding of the macro industry is not going to happen overnight. So you have to constantly understand and read about them so that when the opportunity presents itself, you know that you can make a difference to those. The whole generative AI probably started off somewhere in the 2010s, I would say, where things started to look up for AI, right? If you were someone who you were still reading about it, even though you were like a database developer out there, if you were reading about AI in 2010s, imagine the switch you would have had when it turned mainstream, because you know everything about it, and your companies are starting projects on it. You would have jumped from there to right there. So you never know. So constantly look for that. Even if you are working on projects that are not so exciting, look for opportunities to learn no matter what you're doing. Because sometimes people are put into a situation where they have to stay in a particular company. They have to work on a certain project. It's okay. There's a learning out there in everything that you do. People get better when they're able to solve their own problems and relax and find time to do something more exciting. By that, I mean, if you're someone out there who are running operational scripts every now and then, that's what your total job is, automate that so that you can take that time off and do something else that is exciting you. But at the same time, you get the job done. So make your own things better. I think for mid-level engineers, patience is a key, right? The learning never stops. Like no matter where you are in the industry, the learning never stops. So whatever applied, the new joinees applies to mid-level, high level, and your technology leaders as well. It never changes. But for mid-level, the more towards be patient out there. There's no reason to be, I have to do this today. I have to do this in 6 months. No, you have to do it when you're ready. You have to make yourself ready for it. So for mid-level engineers or mid-level managers, be ready. Like get yourself to that position where I know I can pick something up and be successful at it when given an opportunity. And if the opportunity doesn't present itself, find it. If it's the same company, different team in the same company, or a different company, it doesn't matter, right? But be ready for it and grab it when you get it. Like be courageous, I would say. That's probably it.
Yeah. Agree to that. Thanks for sharing this advice. And you talked about continuous learning and upskilling yourself. That is going to be there throughout the career until you're working. So how you manage to keep yourself up to date, or on that, what you would advise to the audience?
Networking is a big thing, guys, right? A lot of people are natural networkers. A lot of people are passive networkers. The passive networkers are people who are looking at how things are shaping, where the opportunities are, reading about it. They spend a lot of time reading rather than talking to people. Regardless, what happens is you are either reading about something or you're learning from somebody else. Both of these, if you can do both of these, that's fantastic. But find what you're comfortable with. For someone like me, I'm more of a reader rather than active networker. I'm not an active networker. I just read, I just understand, I just have a chat like this, so that's how I get it. But there are people out there who are able to seek networking, right? It's okay. Either way that you go, the fact is, you got to find what's out there. You have to stay in the present while looking at the future. Like staying in the present and looking at the future is what it is. So if there are things in the past that are, not going well for you, you have not done things the right way, it's okay. What is at present is what is in your hand. And in order to know what the future is, you have to either read or talk to people. Read or talk to people. If you're able to do both, great. But do at least one. So don't lock yourself up. Be open to people, be open to networking. At the same time, find that place that you're comfortable with where the learning can happen. There are a lot of people that learn the best when they are actually taking those learnings and putting it into work. So you have to find the time for it. So whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with, find that niche. So don't force fit something that you're comfortable with when it comes to learning. But if it's at work, be open to challenges. You can get thrown into a place where you now have to address an audience when you're not even a speaker. Like you can't have a one-on-one conversation, but then you have to talk to people of 100. It's okay. Challenge yourself. You never know what you'll come out with on the other side.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. I would say if you're passionate about certain technology, then these things will happen. You'll definitely find time for yourself to upskill and all, or know more about that technology and get that to an expert level. But if you're not passionate, then either you find your passion or make that work your passion.
Everybody has that. Everybody has that passion. That if it's not what you're in right now, then you'll find it.
Superb. Thanks a lot for your time and joining me for this podcast. How has been your experience coming to this podcast?
Yeah, thanks, Deep. And this is fantastic. I'm a follower on LinkedIn of yourself. You're doing great work, and then looking at some of these videos that you post for individuals, all these interviews that you post, and also some of the technology trends that you post. I'm a fan. Continue doing it. You're bringing a lot of value to your followers out there. This is your passion. You're doing it great. And yeah, it's been fun working with you as well and being part of this podcast. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Srini, for your time.
Thank you.
I think it was an amazing discussion.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity as well. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
You too.